What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Keep It on the DL. I'm Louis Angelillo, and with me always the delightful Devin Buonanno. And this is episode number 4.2. Point 2 is to recognize Jackie Robinson. It would have been Jackie Robinson Day today, where all MLB players wear 42 on their back across the league. One of baseball's greatest traditions. Sad that it's probably not going to happen this year, but just wanted to make sure we all recognize that it is Jackie Robinson Day today.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a big day every year. It's always really cool to see every single player wearing the same 42 on the back of their jersey, regardless of obviously who they're playing. And I believe the Yanks every year, they try to have, I believe his wife or his daughter, one of the two.
He's got a lot of people to kind of travel around and give a first pitch to, which is nice.
He does. No, it is very nice. And he's around all throughout the year. They definitely do not forget Jackie Robinson, regardless of whether it's Jackie Robinson Day on April 14th or whether it's August 14th.
Exactly.
There's always a feel around Jackie Robinson. Obviously, with Mo being the last player to be able to wear number 42 before they retired it all around the league. It's definitely a cool initiative by the MLB for sure.
It would be part of it. I would like seeing that, bringing it back like September 14th or something like that. Give them all, because I know that the players appreciate it as well. The players love it to wear that number, especially the African American players.
Yeah, big time. It's definitely a huge thing for all the players, obviously, of any race. I mean, with everything that he went through and what he did for the sport, and I mean, even from a baseball perspective, just how great of a player he was. I mean, he really brought some tenacity to the baseball field, and he hustled. He was always sliding hard.
Definitely changed
and hustling
the game
down the baselines
too. Him coming
He did.
up.
He really did. Absolutely.
And you stole my trivia question there. I was going to put you on the spot to see if you knew who the last person to wear 42 was, but you would have gotten it.
Come on, Lou.
You would have gotten it.
Come on. Now.
All right, sticking with baseball, we heard from the MLB that they're as hard as they're trying to get a season here, they've been experimenting with the idea of Cactus League versus Grapefruit League to try to keep everyone separate and mix around the divisions. What do you think of this?
Oh, man, I'm really on the fence. I can't decide whether I like it or not. I'm itching for baseball, or let alone any sport, but obviously baseball. But I just don't know how I'd feel about that. I mean, you could potentially have a Yankees-Angels World Series in a way that's kind of cool, You can have like a Yankees or Red Sox-Angels or Red Sox-Rangers. I mean, you can have weird combos, but then at the same time, you can have a divisional rival that you're never going to have again. Like in the Yankees point, you're going to have
like the Phillies and the Girardi aspect there.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. So I understand what they're trying to do, and obviously it would work, and geographically it works. Everybody has their own facilities. All the players have their own place to stay. It works, and right now I think it's the most logical thing. But the thing is, if everything is A-OK by August, July even,
it would have to be A-OK by July.
Yeah.
Right, that's the hardest part about this. It's basically, if you're going to start this in June, and this is your only way of saying, this is the only way we're having a baseball season. This is the only way that, we're going to have a 100-plus game season. Going forward, if we start after July, it's like we're not going to have a 100-game season. We might not even have a season. Then I'm all for this. I'm all for whatever option gives us baseball. But if there is the almost certain option that they say Yankee Stadium will be open in August, then it's like, all right, give me Yankee Stadium baseball in New York, not in Florida. So if I'm always for the option to put us in those major league ballparks, let us have our Yankees-Red Sox rivalry go. And, we can still be set up for a Yankees-Dodgers World Series this way as well. But just to have it naturally without like an asterisk on it, I feel like if this isn't played traditionally, like, they're just going to give someone an asterisk. So, like, the Yankees can win the World Series, but they'd be like, but did they really? It was a weird kind of season kind of thing. So whatever the most normal option is, I'm for it. But if that's just not going to happen, then I guess I would be okay with this. I'm not in love with it. I'm looking at it now, and the Yankees luck out, I think, getting rid of Tampa in their division. And the Dodgers luck out as well. I mean, they got the Reds. Well, actually, I don't think the Dodgers luck out. I think that it actually might hurt them because you don't know what the Reds are going to be. The White Sox have improved. The Indians got rid of Kluber, but their lineup's still okay. And the Angels just got Rendon, so you don't know what they're going to do. So the West is, in the Cactus League, looks really questionable. Then you have some other leagues that are just atrocious, which I think the Northwest is. You got the Brewers, who didn't win 90 games last year. You have no 90-game winners in the Northwest from last year. You got the Brewers, the Rangers, the Padres, Seattle, and KC. Honestly, I think the Padres could step up and win that division. And then you have other divisions that are so tough, like the South with Boston, Tampa, Atlanta, and the Twins. Those are 4 potential playoff teams right there. And going to the East, you have the World Series matchup in the same division. And then that's the Astros, and then you have the Cardinals and Mets to top it off there. So, those are teams, you got teams that are just like rolling their eyes going, we got the crap end of the stick here. And you have other teams like the Padres and the Yankees that are just A-okay where they are. They'd be like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not the worst thing in the world that they just got hit with, but Tampa and Atlanta and the Twins, those are some tough teams to be in the same division. That's a
very tough division. Big time. That's easily the biggest, or the hardest division, I think.
It really is.
I mean, I think it's obviously a very unique wrinkle to baseball, as with everything that's going on in the world. Everything's been very unique. So in that aspect, I kind of really am intrigued by the idea because we're never going to have this again, and it's neat. Obviously, like I said before, all the facilities are obviously made for Major League Baseball. It'd be interesting. I mean, I'm really down for the Yankees and Phillies to have a rivalry for 1 year. But then what do you do? If everything's okay, like I said, by July and August, you can bring the fans into the stadiums potentially. I personally don't see that happening at all, but playing devil's advocate, if that happens, do you pause the season and then you have all the teams get back?
Yeah, I don't think you can do a half and half kind of thing.
It's tough.
I think that's way too tough.
I don't think so.
To try to do a half and
exactly.
half kind of split.
Yep.
But I think if there's a chance that there can be fans back in the seats come July and August, I think that they're going to try and hold off and rather play out that option. And this is just almost a worst case scenario, and come July they're like, it's still not happening, then they might just jump right into this and say, you know what, let's do it. Let's give us something, with no fans.
Exactly. Something for them to make some money, even with TV deals.
Right.
You know?
So last week,
we'll see.
I think a day or two after we recorded, we had a trade that's the Rams sent Brandon Cooks to Houston for a second-round pick. I'll give my take quick here. Another trade I don't like for Houston. I really don't. Brandon Cooks is not a number one wide receiver. He's not a number one target by any means. He's a good complementary piece. Definitely don't even think he's worth a second-round pick. If you told me this was going to be a fifth, I'd be like, all right, not too bad. But in second-round pick, I think Houston's going in the wrong direction. They could have used that second-round pick to probably, build where they need to, or they maybe even get a better wide receiver if the Jefferson kid from LSU was available in the second round. They could have got him. I would rather him than Brandon Cooks. So I think Houston is missing out on a second-round pick in a big way. Rams getting a second-round pick. Love this trade for the Rams. Look at the Rams wide receivers. They had Cooks. They had Cooper Kupp. And I'm going blank on the Robert Woods. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and Brandon Cooks all performed well. And not because of Jared Goff, because of Sean McVay. That man is a genius, an offensive genius. That guy is going to get guys open, and the wide receivers have a field day there. The Rams did not need Brandon Cooks. The Rams won't miss a beat there with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods still on the roster. The fans should be ecstatic about this trade. What do you think?
I think it definitely obviously benefits the Rams, but it's almost like the Texans. I mean, why'd they have a wide receiver hole in the first place? I mean, I just don't understand what the hell is going on down in Houston, what's going on with Bill O'Brien, what he's doing down there, how he was able to trade arguably the best wide receiver in football out of the blue.
Yep.
And break up one of the best QB wide receiver tandems in the league. And then, on top of it, even if it was a money issue, bringing a huge contract in Brandon Cooks over to Houston. It's the most ass-backwards thing I could think of.
If you felt like you wanted a wide receiver that bad, just draft someone at 2.
Yeah,
draft a younger guy, a guy that's not going to be that much money.
Exactly. You imagine? I mean, Carlos Hyde did a very good job for them last year. I mean, they don't run the ball that much. He averaged about 17 carries a game. But still, at the end of the day, you had Hopkins and Watson, and then you could have still drafted Jefferson if you were that dire in need of a wide receiver. But you know what? When I look at this offense is going to be very fast. An offense with Brandon Cooks in there is going to be a very fast offense. Watson obviously can still run the ball. He can sling it. David Johnson maybe still got some legs left. He's obviously very good in the backfield.
Yeah, Houston's by far the weirdest team going into this season.
It's gonna be it's a coin flip. I don't know what's gonna go on with them. It's either gonna be bad or they're gonna be okay.
They can be 5-11 or 11-5. That's
yeah,
what Houston could be.
Yes,
basically.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree with you. But I going over to the Rams side, I mean, I am probably the biggest Cooper Kupp fan you're gonna find somewhere.
Yeah.
I love him. I think he's a great player. But I feel like this is really gonna mess up their offense a little bit. They obviously don't have Gurley. And Goff is really going to have to rely on Kupp and Woods, who really didn't have a good year last year, coming off of a bad year. And Cooper Kupp did not have a good second half of the year last year either. So that offense is really iffy for me too.
I just think, I think McVay is going to find something to get it done. I think the loss of Gurley is going to hurt too a little bit because it's just an unfamiliar guy in the backfield. But they pay Goff way too much money if you're the Rams. So moving Cook's money for a second-round pick was pretty good. That's basically what I got from the Rams. So they did do something good, but I think Goff got way too much money, way too much.
Yeah, I think it was very premature too.
Exactly.
Very premature to give him that money. But I mean, you have to obviously, as recent as last year, you had him, Cooks, and Gurley making boatloads of money. So, and they're moving in. Well, they're supposed to be moving into that new stadium next year with the Chargers, but this obviously with the virus, it's delaying the construction. So now they're saying that it might not be able to be ready for next year.
Other sites and things like that.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, I don't know if you saw this a little, but there's apparently a wrinkle because they're supposed to have the Super Bowl not next year, 2022, after Tampa. But if they can't get into the stadium this year, they have to move the Super Bowl out of LA in 2022 because a team has to be playing in that stadium for a minimum of 2 seasons in order to host the Super Bowl.
That I didn't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Move
so
it to Vegas.
Yeah, why not?
I think that stadium will be done for the Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Move
It looks sick too. Did you see the outside of that? All black and silver. Oh, it looks so nice.
It does.
Yep. I know.
Other big money in the league. McCaffrey just became the highest paid running back. $16 million per year over 4 years. Rightfully so. This guy was the best running back in football last year, hands down. He was. He could catch. He could. I mean, maybe he could work. He's a small guy. He can pass protect for as best he can for being in that stature. But man, that guy can make plays as a wide receiver. He can make plays in the running backs, and he showed he can run in between the tackles last year too. He's not just a guy that can get a toss or a counter on the outside, but man, this guy can. He's the best running back in football last year, no doubt. Going forward, I mean, you're gonna have your Barkley, but I mean, man, that guy hands down was the best running back, and especially with Kamara taking a huge step back. I mean, well deserved for McCaffrey. I think this deal's perfect for both sides.
Big time. I can't agree more. I think, I mean, going back, think about how he was coming out of Stanford in 2014. I don't know about you, Lou, but I remember how many people doubted him and were saying, oh, he's too small. He's not going to be able to do anything. He sat out the bowl game famously. I just remember he got a lot of scrutiny, and he has done everything but not perform.
He got the same scrutiny a black person would playing quarterback, a Lamar Jackson quarterback, as a white running back would get. I mean, that's the best way to compare it, I think.
Exactly. No, that's a good comparison, Lou.
You know?
It really is.
Just that white really running back people don't have, it's not the norm, I guess. You're always used to an African-American running the football, someone with darker skin running that football, and a person with lighter skin throwing that football. So when Lamar Jackson's saying he's a quarterback, he's going to be scrutinized. And, McCaffrey saying that he's going to be a top running back, there's scrutiny there too.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, obviously, people think of it that way, but good for him. I'm really happy for him. Seems like a great guy on top of it, and he's just a beast on the field. He really is an unstoppable force. And he's only going to be 24 in June. I mean, how often can you find a running back that dominant at 24? Yeah. Obviously, running backs have shorter lifespans, but still.
He's going into his third year now? Was this his second year?
Yeah. No, I think it's his fourth year.
I knew it was at least
third year. You're right. Third year.
Yeah, going into his third year. Yeah. That's normally people's primes, and I mean, if this is going to be the prime of his career, then last year it can only get better.
Yeah, exactly. 15 touchdowns last year.
And that's an offense that's not going to have Cam that's going to rely on him and those touchdowns. Yeah, yes. I mean, put in perspective, he got 15 last year. I saw a crazy stat. He had 15 last year. Barkley has 17 over 2 years, and that's the same amount as Josh Allen, who also has 17 over 2 years. Rushing touchdowns.
That's nuts.
Touchdowns. So Allen rushing the ball is the same amount of touchdowns Barkley does, which is really, really mind-blowing to me. But
it is mind-blowing.
Apparently, that's it. But 15 touchdowns last year for McCaffrey. He can still be a goal line back at that size,
Yeah, he can. And he can pound the ball, too. Like you said, he's great between the tackles, out of the backfield. He's a monster. He can line up in the slot still. He does everything.
Yep. Whoever's playing quarterback for the Panthers. He can stay low behind that line. Those linebackers are like, where'd he go? He's that low behind the line,
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
got that other element of surprise in him.
Yeah.
But well-deserved.
He's going to kill it with Teddy, I think.
I think so. I think so. We'll see how... I like Matt Rule, but like I said, I think he's got to prove himself at the NFL level first. So we'll see how the coaching goes and all that. But Panthers are in the right direction. Who's not in the right direction? Dallas Cowboys. You got Dak Prescott throwing parties, during this pandemic here. Had to get a talking to from Dallas saying, hey, what the hell are you doing? Can you not, have these 50-person parties when there's a pandemic going on?
Just stupid all around. I just don't understand how stupid you can be. You're the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys in the middle of this whole thing, in the middle of trying to get some big-time bucks from them also.
Yeah.
And you're doing
exactly. You're trying to get that multi-year contract, and here you are, as if you got the contract, partying it up.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. He's partying up like, listen, everyone wants to get together, but just hang on, man.
Do it on Zoom.
You live under a microscope to begin with.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then Zeke's there too, apparently.
I wouldn't doubt it. Definitely wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, very, very stupid. I don't know. And apparently, like you said, he got a talking to from the Cowboys. I mean, come on, he's going to be 27 in July. You should know better.
Yeah. Just, they care about your health like a little bit too, maybe. You are an athlete. You know that, these leagues are trying to get back. I'm sure baseball players, people, when they say, hey, I've been with myself for the last 2 weeks just in case that you guys want to come back and quarantine your players for 2 weeks before they come back. Like, I've done that quarantine. I'm ready to go. Like, how about you stay safe, Jeez.
Yes, exactly. It's not even him. You have to think about, like, other people you've been with and who they've been in contact with. That's the whole thing. Know. You might be okay. You don't know.
These people, what if some guy came from 2 hours away, had to fill up for gas, and, God forbid the guy before him had his hand on the gas pump, had the virus, and then here he goes with his hand on the gas pump now. Anyway, it's so simple. It's just so simple to see how everyone in this world can, if I go out and throw a baseball to one of my friends and then, bam, you can see how that'll impact everything. It's just crazy how I can probably spread a virus through millions of people. Just one way.
I know.
It's just crazy. Be smart. Just be smart, please.
Yeah, come on.
2 rules in the NFL. One being taken away, one being added. One being taken away is the PI challenge rule. That is done. They're getting away with it after just 16% of calls were overturned. Just a reaction from the NFC Championship game with the Rams and Saints. That was just an overreaction. Yeah. That's all this was.
Yeah, I think so. I think the NFL's still hurting from that big time.
Yep.
Obviously, probably the worst, the biggest blown call, honestly, in my opinion, the biggest in the NFL's history. I don't know if anybody could really not or argue against that, but
have to really think about it.
I mean, I think it's easier.
Top 3.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's not much clarity regarding what pass interference is either.
Right, it's all judgmental.
Still,
all judgmental.
It's all
judgmental. How they're
judgmental.
calling the game. One guy might be calling it hard on his side of the field, and the other guy's calling any little tug or contact. So it's all judgmental. And then the rule being added, they're calling it the Belichick rule. So when you have the ball with 7 minutes to go, you can't take 4 penalties to get the clock down under 4 minutes. Finally being implemented, kind of went too long. You saw it more the last year for some reason, but because then Vrabel did it in the playoffs. So good rule. I like it. It's basically going to be changed to if you get 2 dead ball penalties, then the clock will stop. So on your second penalty, the clock will stop. So if you draw that false start, it'll go for another 30 seconds. And then the next penalty, if you take another penalty, then the clock will stop. So I agree with that. Good fix by the NFL there. Another thing that was weird was they're not looking into this sky judge thing. I love the idea of the sky judge. That was the one thing in the XFL where I was like, that is awesome. The guy has the tablet right in front of him. He's looking at everything from above. It takes about 30 seconds for them to say, yep, good catch. Yep, that was a fumble. Nope, he didn't have his feet in. Like, it was so simple. And the NFL, I think, just can't get out of their own way and take something from the XFL. But I thought a sky judge would have been perfect.
Yeah, I think that's the last thing the NFL would do, would take something from the XFL. And I think the NFL and the MLB are very similar in that they want to keep it natural. They don't want to lose the integrity of the game. They don't want it to evolve in a way, I guess you can kind of say. But I mean, look at the NBA. They had to review the fouls now. The NHL, they have a sky judge too, in a way. I think it's good for the sport. I understand why they're trying to be cautious, but I mean, for as much as this pops up, I mean, they got to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I think they really should have had that sky judge. They said they're not looking into it, but man, I mean, all these calls, especially even in college football. College football is the worst because everything gets reviewed in college football with replay and everything like that, and it takes like 5 minutes. But man, this Skycam stuff. It was amazing hearing them just going like, yeah, not inconclusive, good call on the field, call will stand. Guy takes his headset, takes it off, gives it to the guy, walks out there and just says it. 30 seconds, done.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
Done.
all we need. That'd be perfect. But
Exactly.
as you reminded
And
me,
you know what?
the XFL is done. They don't have any plans of getting going again.
Yeah, it's very sad. There were high hopes for it, that it was going to fill the void in the NFL. Obviously, when the NFL wasn't around, it was kind of a surprise. It just
And I
happened
thought they were
out
doing
of
all
nowhere.
right.
They just went.
They weren't
Yeah, I thought they were
exceeding
doing all right, too.
expectations, but they
And-
certainly weren't bumming out like the AFL did.
Yeah. Exactly. But I hope maybe down the road it'll come back. But I feel bad. It was a cool league.
It's good for
a
those
nice
guys
experiment.
too. The guys that want that last chance to try to get in the league and all that. So, a couple of them did get signed. So that was
Yeah. Yeah, some
That
couple
was
of them
good.
did get signed. Yeah.
Transition to some sad news. Tavares Jackson, age 36, passed away of a car accident earlier this week. He was backup quarterback for Seattle and Minnesota, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, very sad. I always remember him out in Minnesota. He had some pretty. He was a definition of a backup quarterback that could come in and
Reliable option.
you'd be
Just
fine.
a reliable backup quarterback.
Reliable option. Exactly. Yeah, he. I always remember in Madden, he could never move though. He did not have any speed whatsoever, but he had a cannon. So, but I mean, he. It's very sad either way. Always a bad way to go. Obviously, very sudden. He was very young. He was only in his mid-30s.
Yeah. And you got on the other, from the court to the ice, 25-year-old Colby Cave, part of the Edmonton Oilers squad, passed away from brain bleeding earlier this week or last week as well. So just so tough. 25 years old, Dev. That's me in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm right there with you. Obviously, that would be me in December. God forbid. And I mean, from everything I've read and everything I've seen, he was an awesome guy. Played for the Oilers and the Bruins. Spent a lot of his time in the AHL. But I mean, he seems like a great guy. Very young guy. Obviously, only 25. A newlywed. Had his
saw
wife.
some photos that the wife put
but
up and
one
things
thing
like
that. Yeah, I know. It's very heartbreaking. And the whole thing that makes it even tougher is that he goes through this, and then she can't even stay with him in the hospital.
That's
I
the
can't
saddest
imagine.
part
My
of
heart
all
goes
this.
out to
Everyone that's
her
losing
and
people
his
can't be with
family.
them in the hospital and can't hold services
Right.
afterwards. That's the hardest part. That's going on through all this. This extra sucky time.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Rough.
I know.
Rough.
All
Sticking
right.
with go ahead.
Now
take
we
it away.
got-
Sticking with the NHL.
No. Yeah, no, I was gonna say with the NHL we got what would you want to do, Lou? Do you want to talk some, you want to go do our last segment, or you want to talk some other stuff?
Let's finish up here quick, and then we'll get into our top 5 plays of all time. So I know the NHL is trying to maybe do a playoffs scenario located in New Hampshire or South Dakota.
Yeah, it's been toyed around a little bit from what I've been reading. They have 3 destinations they're looking at. They're thinking about New Hampshire, they're thinking about South Dakota, and they're thinking about Saskatchewan. So I don't think it's going to happen, but it's nice to dream.
Definitely. Having playoffs without fans is pretty sad, but having no playoffs at all is that sadder. That's the biggest question facing everything. Is having nothing at all more sad than an empty stadium? All right. And
I think so.
Another passing. Karl Anthony Towns' mom passed away after a long battle. She was in an induced coma. She passed away yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, that was very sad. Very sad. And she was all healthy, obviously very healthy and everything. There was the viral video earlier in the season of her going after Joel Embiid after he and Kat got a little tussle down in Philly.
Very supportive, very
but again,
loving
she was only in her
mother.
early
So
50s.
sad,
Yeah,
sad to see. Condolences out for
very
Kat.
sad.
Another thing that was sad to see was their attention for horse. How that was god awful. That was terrible. Their horse thing. Good. It was, it's like a good try, but it stunk. It was bad. It was laggy. The video wasn't great. It was just very, very boring. Very boring. And hopefully we don't see that same quality with the NFL draft coming up. We need to see something clear that actually looks like it could be on TV, because Goodell's going to be broadcasting from the basement of his house.
I'm excited to see how that goes.
We'll see. But they are giving us on Sunday Michael Jordan. First part of the documentary will be dropping April 19th. Very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, a lot of hype surrounding that documentary. It's about time they're releasing it. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm going to try to hold off until they release the whole thing so I could just binge watch all 5 of them.
Maybe. No, absolutely not. No chance. I am watching that live Sunday night.
No, but then you got to wait a whole week.
I mean, what am I doing anyway? I'm fine with waiting the whole week. I got nothing going on. So, yeah, I can wait. I can wait. I got to watch that. It's something. It's something that's finally here. It's something that we have been looking forward to that's finally here. So we got that. The sports world's got that. Enough. I wouldn't be surprised if there's over 15 million viewers for that. Probably maybe more. 20.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
20. Not Super Bowl ratings, but they're going to be up there. It's going to be up there.
It's going to be up there.
Very excited for that in the 19th.
Be up there.
And then we'll come back, actually, that 20th or 21st with our new episode. That'll be an all draft-based episode. Any breaking news and NFL draft predictions. So don't say, hey, where's your draft content? It's coming. We're going to do a whole episode on the draft next week. So to close out this episode, we came up with a list of our top 5 plays. Last week we did our top 5 events that we attended. So this week we're going top 5 plays. So Dev, what is your number 5?
Yeah, so my number 5, it's the Piazza home run in 01. The first game after 9/11, and just how dramatic that home run was and how much it meant for New York. Something that a lot of sports fans and New Yorkers definitely will not forget.
Game-winning homer.
Sure.
I think all Yankee fans were Met fans that day, in that moment. That was one of the greatest home runs ever hit in the history of baseball. So don't hate your number 5 there. Coming in at number 5 for me was I was between 2 here. I really was, and I'm still between 2. I'm just going to give you both because I know I'm not supposed to. But at number 5, I have Jermaine Kearse's bobble and catch, right near the goal line, and then the Malcolm Butler interception. I mean, the Malcolm Butler interception is a play in Super Bowl history that'll never be forgotten, and a play call by Pete Carroll that'll never be forgotten. Throwing it on the goal line there in that scenario, could have handed it off for a back-to-back Super Bowl win, and it's just everything. That the Jermaine Kearse catch before that was. The ball bobbled off of him like 4 times before he brought it in, laying down on his back. Yeah. It's almost like as if you turned over a turtle and it caught the ball. Like it was an amazing catch. And then for it to be all just taken away from Malcolm Butler's interception, I think I'm going to have to put that at number 5. My other potential number 5 was the George Brett Pine Tar moment where the Yankees challenged the bat and George Brett was ejected from the game. The home run didn't count, and blasphemy.
Yep.
So that was my other potential 5.
Yeah,
Number
can't
4.
disagree with you there. Number 4 for me. What do I got for number 4? I got the Auburn Chris Davis run back. I mean that call is just ingrained in my head. The Auburn's gonna win the football game. Oh my god! Oh my god! I mean that guy. The Auburn call is amazing. One of the best calls. I'll never forget that, and I'll just never forget sitting on the edge of my bed in my room right before a hockey game in high school. And just watching him run that back, I said I could not believe my eyes what just happened.
Yes.
It was unbelievable.
One of the most unforgettable college football plays. But there is one more than that I have on my list. But that is, the Auburn return is my number 4, just the field goal being short, and just the fact that it happened on a field goal to take it the distance in the Iron Bowl against Alabama, all the hype. That is my number 4 as well. Let's hear your number 3.
Oh boy, my number 3, it's got to be the Boone home run in 03. Just starting to become a big Yankee fan then, and I mean beating the Sox in the ALCS Game 7, as dramatic as it was, extra innings, going to the World Series, man, and what a call by John Sterling too. And Boone just sent that ball to the moon and back. He put that thing in outer space.
Amazing moment. Oh, That's why part of you'll love him as a coach too, just because of that moment. Just because of that moment.
Oh, yeah.
My number 3 comes from Super Bowl 42 on a 3rd and 5. Giants have the ball. Eli Manning drops back. Maybe a second from a whistle being blown on a sack. Able to scramble out of it, throws deep downfield. David Tyree, who they say didn't make a catch in the practices leading up to the game, puts some stickum on the helmet, gets it, he brings it in, holds on to the ball. Just one of the most unbelievable catches you'll ever see in your life. I'll be surprised if there's a Super Bowl play that's bigger than that going forward. I mean, the only thing I can see is that being in the end zone. That's the only thing that could be more epic than that play.
Yeah, I will definitely. I mean, oh boy, just etched in my mind, just him going up there and somehow beating Rodney Harrison for that
Pats. Ooh, amazing.
Yeah. And one giant loss.
Find plaques in the corner of the end zone. Game. Amazing.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Oh boy. My number 2, this is tough for me. But I think I'm gonna have to go with my favorite athlete of all time, my favorite Devil player of all time, Zach Parise, in the gold medal game of the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver against Canada, tying the game up with just under 30 seconds to go to send it into OT. I mean, Canada, USA, gold medals in the Olympics. I mean, it does not get much better than that. And my favorite player ever, just tying the game up. I don't think I've ever jumped so much in my life, and just was springing up and down on my couch. I'll never forget that adrenaline I have from that. It's tough to beat, and that's definitely a memorable goal for me. I wish it ended better for the U.S., but I mean, I'll take that goal any day.
All right. I see, Dev's a big hockey guy. I get it. I mean, I guess it's in the Olympics. It's not an NHL game, but I can think of some better plays, Dev. But I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide.
No way.
Number 2, I have Cal Stanford. Kickoff, laterals, back and forth. He's at the 20, and the band is on the field. Great frickin' play. Yeah. I mean, the guy decked the trombone player in the end zone after he scored. Just unbelievable turn of events. Just absolutely crazy. You have one team celebrating as the other team comes down and decks your trombone player to win the game. I mean, if I was, watching that real time alive for that, I would no way I would forget that. No way.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's already etched in your mind for the tapes,
I mean, that's the call. The band is on the field. just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And your number one.
Well, at least for me, my number one, I talked about this last week too, but just the greatest sports moment of my life. Adam Henrique scoring the game-winning goal in overtime to send the Devils to the Stanley Cup Final in 2012 against the Rangers. Something I will never, ever, ever, ever forget. Never forget where I was. I was actually out in Penn State, of all places, for my sister's volleyball tournament. But again, Doc Emmerich, one of the best play-by-play guys in all of sports, arguably in history, was, again, such a memorable call, and that celebration, having it be at home in Jersey against the Rangers, just everything. And it just hasn't been the same since, but I will hold on to that memory for the rest of my life. That
very
is for
personal
sure.
To you. Very, very biased number one selection. Very biased. I don't think anyone's putting that at number one on anyone else's list. But it's all right. It's your list. I can't grade
I'm
your
unique.
list. Kind of can, but it's your list. Can't say anything about it. Little
be
bias
salty,
number
though.
one there. But the greatest play of all time. Raiders, Steelers. Terry Bradshaw's a quarterback. Time's ticking. Throws the ball down the field. Hits off the defensive back. And right there is Franco Harris to make the shoestring pickup and take it into the end zone. And from that game forward, the Steelers have never not had a sold out crowd. Just crazy, the craziest play of all time. I mean, before that, Roger Staubach ran in the ball for 32 yards to take the lead. And then, boom, the immaculate reception just erases all that. Just an unbelievable play. Just craziness. Absolute craziness. Just the ball, I think he hit off the D-back's, pretty sure it hit off the defensive back's head. Off the helmet, right into Franco Harris's shoestrings. Just caught it. People today say he didn't catch it, but he caught it. He caught that. Ran it in the end zone. Steelers win. I mean, unbelievable. That has got to be the greatest play of all time.
Oh, it's definitely up there for sure.
That'll wrap it up for this week. Next week we will discuss the draft, and Dev's going to watch the Michael Jordan documentary because we're going to discuss that as well. And we'll see. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
See you next week. Thanks.